We now welcome Jordan Taylor, JMU cornerback, onto our YouTube channel. Jordan, thanks for taking the time.
Of course, Bennett, anytime.
Yes, we wanted to start by asking you about the NFL draft prep and what that's been like. I think I had seen that you ran a 40-yard dash that was 4.3 in that range. So I guess what's it been like to prep for the NFL draft, do all these different tests and get ready to maybe fulfill one of your, I assume, lifelong dreams of playing in the NFL?
It was definitely a great experience for me to put that grind in and try to get ready for this NFL process. It's been great. There's a there's a my team that I'm with, that includes my dad, my agent, my defensive back coach, my trainer, my speed coach. So all of those guys they played a huge role, a huge part in just me just getting ready for all of this with just speed work, weight room, just everything. Everything was cool. Everything it was a great experience, and it was just great.
That's awesome. What's the feedback been from teams and things, whether you're talking to your agent or teams directly, with your testing? I know obviously running a 40-yard dash at the speed that you did, I imagine was impressive to a bunch of teams.
Mhm. Me and my agent talked. I recently just signed with him, maybe about I'll say maybe a week ago,
Mhm.
and he's been really putting in the work for me. I really appreciate my agent, Chris. He's the guy. He done reached out to all 32 teams, trying to get my name out there, just doing everything possible, just so I can stay in the radar. And I want to say I appreciate him for that. Um, Team wise, though, he did tell me he spoke to a few teams. He spoke to the Browns. He spoke to the Saints. He spoke to who else did he speak to? There were about five teams in total that he has gotten feedback from, which is good. Patriots, the Jaguars. He mentioned there's some nice teams in there.
That's awesome. I know you're a Miami guy. Are you growing up? Were you a Dolphins fan, or what's your favorite NFL team?
So yeah. Growing up in Miami, yeah, I do like the Dolphins. I'm actually going to the Dolphin Day tomorrow for
Okay.
yeah, I'm going to meet the coaches, do a workout, a tour of the facility, just whatever you could think. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
Awesome. I know some of the guys we talk to, and we talk about their NFL draft prep and stuff. They're obviously so used to playing football and that sort of thing, but maybe training for the 40-yard dash is a little bit different. You're probably a unique case given your track background. So what was it like to know that you had that speed, sort of, I guess, running technique better than most football players? Were you kind of licking your chops when you knew that the 40-yard dash was coming up?
Oh no, I wasn't nervous at all. I've been running track ever since I was about 4 years old. So all I knew was I just get on the line and just run and just do what I do. Just run. That's it. Just run.
Were you expecting to do a 4.3? I guess what was your goal going in?
I was expecting a 4.2. Like
Okay.
my training like training wise and stuff. I did put up some great numbers. I did put up two already, but 4.3 that's still very fast. So I can't be upset with that.
Those are some impressive numbers. I wanted to ask you too about this last year at JMU and what your experience was like. It's obviously a really crowded secondary. A lot of different defensive backs were getting time this year, but you sort of worked your way into a proven starter by the end of the season at corner. What was it like to compete against those guys in practice? And what was it like to become an FBS starter this year for the Dukes?
Oh, it was great. It was great. Everybody on the all the guys, we all just kept battling, kept competing. We felt like there was no man, above the group. We all just kept working, and whoever everyone had their role. Everybody got their turn. Everybody got to do everything that they wanted to do. It was great. Just me coming from D2 and me being able to make that transfer and make that jump to D1. It was great. It was great. I didn't complain about anything. I knew how to come in and work because I knew, nothing's going to be given to you. Nothing's given to anyone. So I just had to come in ready to work, just put my head down, grind, and the coaches seen it, and they seen all the hard work I put in, and I just kept trusting in it, and just left it up to God, and He made it happen for me. I was able to just just make plays for the team.
Awesome. What strengths do you think you bring to potentially an NFL roster? I know obviously you're one of the faster guys that was on JMU's roster. I guess what about it? What about your game do you think could translate well to the next level?
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like my game can definitely translate to the next level with, like you mentioned, my speed, and yeah, I might be just a little small, but I can pack a punch. So I was able to do in pro day. I was able to do the bench press 16 times. So you
Pretty
know,
impressive, yeah.
yeah. So speed and power. That's what you need. Speed and power.
That's awesome. Yeah, I guess what's your 225 for the bench, right? So what's that, 30, 40 pounds over your body weight?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's 16 is pretty solid on that. I was curious too if you had a favorite memory from this JMU season. Obviously, you played in I think every game this year. So what was it like to be on the team for this full season? And did you have a one memory that kind of sticks out the most for you?
So I was only there for a semester,
Yeah.
so I did try to make the most out of that, just being there for that one semester. But I do have a couple of memories, though. A couple of memories I can remember was the senior night with my parents. They came to the game. It was a good experience because they never had one of their children actually go to a D1 program.
Yeah.
So me being the first kid to do that, I know that felt awesome for them, and I was just very glad I was able to just to put a smile on their face and just put a smile on their face. Another memory I would say was winning the
Mhm.
bowl game right, not too far from home. That was
Yeah,
great. A lot of family came out to support as well. So it was just a real, real great feeling to be able to finish my collegiate career off, not too far from home. It
that's
was
awesome.
great.
That's a heck of a memory. First bowl win in program history was obviously a big one for you and everyone on the team. And you mentioned packing a punch in your game. You're a big hitter for somebody your size. You've got good ball skills, good speed. Do you prefer recording an interception or do you prefer sort of a hard hit? What gets you most excited as a
Oh,
defensive?
oh, definitely an interception. Definitely an interception. But when you do, knock the guy down, you hit the guy real hard, it's definitely going to turn up. The crowd's going to turn everybody up. It's going to turn everybody up. But definitely interception first, for sure.
That's awesome. I was curious too, just in general, what it's like to go from D2 to FBS to now preparing to potentially make an NFL roster. What has that journey been like? I imagine at times maybe it's a little bit surreal, but I guess what is it about you and your journey that's been, that you've been able to make these leaps up different levels so consistently?
Resilience. That's the word right there. Resilience. Coming out of high school, I wasn't very heavily recruited,
Mhm.
and COVID time, so it was a lot of stuff going on around that time. But I never complained. I never had a handout. I wasn't given anything. So when knew I wasn't heavily recruited, I'm like, I know I got to go D2, but the D2 that I went to, they allowed me to do both sports. So I was able to play football and run track. So it was a no brainer. So I was just like, I'm going to go to the school. I want to make a name for myself. I'm going to trust God's process because everything happens for a reason. So I just went in there with my head high, just grinded. It was all conference my freshman year. Started as a freshman. I didn't play no games. I just kept going, kept trusting and believing the process, kept following the path the Lord has paid for me, and I'm glad I did it because look what happened. It turned out good for me, and that's just a lesson to never give up. Just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing because you never know what's going to happen.
For sure. Is there an NFL corner that you like to model your game after, or a guy that you kind of looked up to, and I guess when you were growing up?
So when I was younger, I was given the nickname Taylor Island. At that time, Darrell Revis,
Yep.
he Island. So I used to always follow the best receivers growing up, all the way up until to even at my D2. I used to always stick the best receiver on the other the opposite team. So yeah, that's
Darrelle Revis growing up, yeah, and his prime was pretty unbelievable for the Jets, what he was doing. Yeah, they basically wouldn't throw at him, I guess, in certain years. Yeah, he was incredible. That's awesome.
oh,
I was curious too in your prep because you had mentioned that I guess the track background made it easy to run the 40 and stuff like that. Have you always been a guy like in the bench that was something you were good at? Is it something you had to work really hard on to get that bench press strength up, or is that something that kind of came naturally to you too?
So my dad, he's a very strong guy. My dad, he been lifting weights for a long, long time. And he also attended Syracuse University too. He played football for Syracuse, and the weight room program that he implemented, he definitely got me right for sure. Dad's gonna always be tough on you. So give a shout out to dad right there. Anthony. Yeah, definitely played a huge, huge part in getting me strong. Just growing up and just getting ready.
That's awesome. That makes a ton of sense. Yeah. I was curious too. You mentioned finding the agent about a week ago. What is that process like? I don't know. Are coaches helping you with that? How do you go about finding an agent and what's it like to go through all those logistical things? Because obviously you talked about the Dolphins Day and some other stuff that you're doing. Obviously you're training for the draft and playing football, but there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes just to get in front of teams and meet an agent and stuff. How does that work for you logistically?
So my agent, I got referred to him by a former coach of mine. His name is Shannon Showers, Coach Shake. He's at Benedict, I believe, at D2. So he put the word in for me, and I want to appreciate him too for doing that. And he it just everything just fall in the line. Honestly, he put me in the door, and my agent, he's great. He's a great guy. He really, he's doing some good things for me. And I want to appreciate him for that.
Awesome. And I wanted to ask about I guess the Tusculum to JMU pipeline now with your former teammates Ron Collins coming to JMU as well. What can you tell fans about his game? I know he's got a lot of confidence too, and certainly a ton of speed like yourself.
Oh yeah, Zeron. Zeron's a baller, man. Smoke. They call him Smoke for a reason, man. Hey, hey, with the win. But he's a great guy. Great student athlete. He's gonna do whatever he needs to do to help the team. He's a program player, and he was young when I touched him. He was a freshman when I was just leaving. So I used to go against him every day in practice, 101s, team, Skelly, you name it. I used to always go against him. So I feel like me and him just iron sharpening iron. It just is going to really pay off for him, and he's going to be great for the Dukes. He's going to be fantastic.
Awesome. And last question I wanted to ask you, I know you mentioned Darrell Revis being a guy that you look up to and things like that. I know corners always are watching NFL receivers or college receivers. If there's an NFL receiver you could go up against, is there somebody that you'd love to have a chance to be one-on-one with?
I will go against anybody. It doesn't matter if it's Megatron. It could be Julio Jones. It could be Hill. It could be anybody. I would go against everybody. Everybody that's still there, the best of the best. I'm ready and coming to compete for sure.
Awesome. Well, good luck with Dolphins Day, NFL draft prep, and everything that comes after. I know Jamie fans are keeping close tabs on your journey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.